Hi there, this is MJT's Wycombe Wanderers Plus, and we're recording this again on the same day I've done two more. Just don't tell my wife, she thinks I'm doing the hoovering. Right, this is actually part 2 of Chairboys Chat, episode 7. I've called it the second half because we seem to run out of time on the first half, which was to do the championship and bullying on a football or banter on a football pitch. We also looked on that one at top teams in all the leagues and what the flip is happening this season. We didn't really get any answers in that. If you've got any comments or thoughts, then please put them below. Keep them clean because, like I say, banter or bullying. We discussed a bit of the championship, and we also had a look at Harry Kane deserves a red card. That was my comment. I think I'd like people to have a look at that and see how he doesn't jump for the ball and then bends over waiting for the player to fall over the top of him.
Yeah, I think Harry Kane was more interested in Cresswell than the ball, probably trying to get a free kick himself.
Clear it properly. Oh, and then Kane clear it properly. Oh, and then oh, it's been given.
Right. Okay, back to recording. Blow it. We've just spent 10 minutes on a thing without recording it. That was my fault. Okay, quick start at the beginning. Go. What's the first game?
West Ham beat Leeds.
Okay.
You said it was going to be a draw. I said West Ham would win.
Leeds, well, I've just looked it up. Leeds, they have 4 games next they can win. Can you remember which they were? It was
Man United, West Brom, Burnley and someone else.
Yeah, they their next 4 games are the 4 games they need to win. We will find out. I mean, they're mid-table at the moment, but they're not that far away from the bottom, really. The mid-tables, I mean, I think they got 14 points. They've got these 4 games they need points from. It's as simple as that. I love West Ham. I think West Ham look good. Next one.
We said Chelsea would beat Everton, but Everton actually beat Chelsea. Just a bit of a surprise because it went against all of the stats and all of the last 6 games kind of things.
What do you think? Tell
Chelsea,
me about Everton.
Well, Everton have just been in really poor form of late because they had a few injuries. So I think Rodriguez, I think Richarlison might have had 1 or 2. And this game could easily have just gone out as a 0-0 draw. But if you see the penalty they gave away, you have no idea what the goalkeeper's doing. He has no right to be where he is. And
this is the Chelsea goalkeeper.
This is Chelsea goalkeeper Mendy. He just clatters into their striker, and there's, for whatever reason,
shocking, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a very sort of thing that Kepa would have done, and Chelsea fans would have absolutely gone ballistic at. And yeah,
is he good, new goalkeeper, and he just had a bad decision?
Oh, more than likely. He is quite a good goalkeeper, I'd say. Whether he's not Alisson, Lloris, De Gea kind of.
Do you know where he comes from?
Standards. It was a French team. Might have been Lille, actually. Might have been Lille.
Should have stayed there. They're top of the league over there.
Yeah, if it was Lille anyway.
Okay, yeah. And Chelsea, well, Chelsea can't beat any of the teams at the top. They've not beaten any team in the top half. They're not ready yet to win the Football League. That is my opinion. I think they need a bit of room yet. Give Lampard more time. And what I was going to say next was, I've said this to your mum. She's got a clue about football. Well, she has. I mean, you know, she doesn't watch. Well, she does watch much because she has to watch what I watch. And that is, these teams are not getting the time on a training pitch to learn about moves on a football pitch. If they want to sort of sort out a different way of taking a corner, they don't get time. They're playing late on a Sunday, and then they're off to Europe, then they're early on a Saturday. They are not getting time. They come back from these trips. When I come back from a holiday, I'm knackered. You know, I mean, they're off to a hotel, they're scoffing this food, that food for fitness. Off they go, play a game of football, straight in the hotel. They're out the next morning, they're coming back on a coach, plane, whatever. They get one small amount of time off, then they're back on a training pitch to get up to the right fitness, to get the muscles in the right place. You know more about this than I do. But they don't have time to train a team to do anything on a football pitch as a team. They're just trying to keep them fit so they're not pulling muscles on a football pitch. And I think it's worth, if they're not just going off playing a game then having a lazy 2 days off. That is not what players have to do to keep them fit today. Am I right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Tell me, you know.
Well, so of course the main advocate for this is Mr. Klopp, who likes to bang on about the amount of rest the players get. Having 3 days in between every game is fine sometimes, but at the fitness levels they have to be anyway, and the rate at which they're running every game, they can't maintain it.
But even if they do, let's say people talk about, well, they get enough money. Okay, let's say they can keep fit. Okay, so let's say, which they should really keep fit.
Well, you can keep fit, absolutely, yeah.
Occasionally, but let's say they keep fit. But they have no time to train as a team to work out how to play as a team.
No.
Which is why I say Liverpool have an advantage in that, at least, in that they've had the same manager with the same style of football for a while.
Yeah.
Whereas when you bring in a manager and the different players, they're definitely at a disadvantage. In that sense.
It's why it kind of surprises me that Spurs are doing so well, because Mourinho's style of play is obviously extremely different to Pochettino's.
Yeah.
And they've managed to turn around very quickly.
Brilliant. They've done brilliant, whether you like them or not. At this point, go on then. Next game.
I said Man City would win, and you said Man United would win, and it turns out to be the dullest game of the year.
Yeah. How shocking is that? I mean, that's awful. Isn't that awful?
It was.
I'm lucky no fans were in the ground. Do you know, here's an interesting thing about Arsenal fans that I looked up. Okay, this is Arsenal. There is 20% of the Arsenal crowd are more likely to leave early than any other team from the game. The least likely is Leicester, 1%. There is 22% are most likely at Arsenal to boo their own team. Wolves, 0.4% are the lowest. And 9% of Arsenal fans bet against their own team, whereas Wolves, it's only 1%. And that's from the Footy Accumulators Betting Hub. Isn't that interesting?
Well, it's been 5 years that they've been booing Arsenal, isn't it? Effectively, since the Wenger out brigade started, and they haven't been able to do anything since.
We keep talking about almost the same thing. Arteta, has he got time before the booing gets louder and louder?
He hasn't got much time, I don't think. If he loses, I don't know who they're playing in the next few games, but if they lose 2 or 3 out of the next 4, let's say, I think realistically he's probably got to go.
heads drop, don't they? And if that crowd are in that stadium booing as well, I think they're in trouble.
Oh, I think Arsenal just don't have any leaders in that team. They don't have anyone who's kind of like been there, done it kind of thing. Like Aubameyang is very good, and I think
he can certainly
he's a great
score.
striker. He can score. Well, he hasn't
Both
been recently, but he's not a captain. He's just not. It's like making Aguero captain. Like, he's a fantastic player. We all know it, but he's not a captain. He's not going to, round up a team and all this that a captain should do. They're just not that, and they haven't got anyone who can be that at the moment.
There's no point talking about City. I think both teams aren't that far off. I mean, they're not that far off, but where on Match of the Day, you leave the Friday night game till last, obviously. Anyway, they usually do, and you've got 4 matches to watch, and you're watching Crystal Palace, etc., before you're watching Manchester United versus Manchester City, and that's the 4th game on Match of the Day. That tells you something.
Tells how bad it was.
It tells you where those teams are. And, I was listening to a football show that was discussing when they first brought in the idea of 3 points for a win because football had become boring and it was worth fighting for the 1 point. Well, they were discussing how about 10 points a win. Maybe a bit much, but has football become boring? We discussed this before, and I wonder about points. There was also a show I was listening to that was talking about throw-ins and about what a drag throw-ins are, and about which maybe you need zones, and maybe you need to be able to throw the ball on the pitch anyhow you like, rather than peeing around with you're only allowed to,
but then you can effectively get a corner from a throw-in.
Yeah. Remember, football is supposed to be exciting in a game. I'll leave that one with you. You think about that and maybe discuss it later. How can we change football to brighten it up? Because after all, rugby changes its rules to make it more interesting. And is football a bit more of a drag? And can the rules change? And not just VAR and all that, and pushing and pulling. Is there anything else that we can change to make football exciting? And with that, oh no, football's always been like this. Well, hey, how about not making it like that? Okay, who's the next match?
It was Newcastle versus West Brom. You said Newcastle would win. I said it was going to be a draw. And you were right. Newcastle did beat West Brom. I don't know why I didn't say that.
It was that first goal, wasn't it?
Oh, well, within 20 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to say anything about that game? Mind you, I remember saying if our friend was back with West Brom, that I did say I wondered whether West. Oh no! Sorry,
that's Crystal Palace, mate.
Yeah, West Brom. Yeah.
West Brom are dead. This is a real boring team.
They are. They'll pick the money up and down they come.
Yeah.
To win.
Be replaced by Norwich, and then Norwich come back down. West Brom go back up, and it's just a cycle.
Yeah, a bit of a drag, isn't it?
Next, I said Villa were going to beat Wolves, and you said Wolves would win, but I was right. Villa won with a 94th minute penalty.
Yeah, for Wolves, what's happened?
Well, they obviously still have Jimenez out due to a fractured skull, I think.
Yeah, that was shocking, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So I think you can probably, at the moment, put it down to that.
They don't have enough players like that.
No. I mean, losing your main striker is going to affect every team, isn't it?
7 points in the last 6 games.
It's not great. But I think they'll still be fine. And Villa have been pretty decent this season anyway. They had a really good start. So
Well, they're just in the bottom, and they're playing Chelsea, so they should win that.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say that. Right. They've got Burnley, Tottenham, United, Brighton.
Burnley, Brighton, you know.
Yeah, but you got Burnley, Brighton, and Chelsea.
I'd still back Wolves to do something against Spurs as well.
Yeah, can I just say, while we're on Spurs, I just got to say, Spurs haven't scored in the second half.
They're not.
I'm right there. If anybody wants to say I've got that wrong, I think Spurs have not scored in the second half. If anybody can get a couple of goals in that first half, they've won the game.
What, do you think this whole season they haven't?
Yeah, I think.
That can't be right.
Can somebody have a look at that for me?
I'm looking at it now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm sure I'm right.
I think it might just be recently they haven't, but
they haven't scored many goals though, have they?
So Palace was in the first half. Arsenal, they scored in the first half all their goals. If my laptop wants to load, it'd be nice. I don't think it's going to. No, but they do score their goals in the first half. It's very evident what they try to do with their style of play, isn't it?
Yeah.
They scored in the first half and then they defend for the second.
Yeah, and I wonder, you score against them in the first half, I think that could be a game. I'm sure I've got that right. Please, anybody write down, am I right or wrong?
Well, I've just clicked on when they beat Burnley and they scored in the 76th.
So right. Okay,
that's just one of the games.
So we'll put they don't score many.
But largely they score in the first half,
Yeah, so they win their games in the first half. Okay, next game. How long we do? Yeah.
I think we're right. We both said that Burnley would beat Arsenal. Because of course they did.
Oh dear. But Burnley, I mean,
they didn't do anything apparently. No. They had their chance in the first half. To be fair, that they should have scored with Wood, I think. And Arsenal had chances they could have scored pretty easily.
I mean, we're talking about getting Sky for a month to watch football. Well, I have to be honest. When Burnley and Arsenal come up, I shan't bother with those two.
No, Arsenal are dull to watch at the moment as well, aren't they? I thought them getting Willian would be a very good signing for them, but he has been one of the worst players of the season, I think. This is what can you say about Arsenal? It's a very negative club at the moment.
It is, but where does that negativity come from? I mean, first of all, I think it's interesting, those statistics on that. The booing and the leave early and the betting against. I think that tells you where the fans come from. I think it's on the pitch. It's how far does it go? I mean, all that Wenger stuff, went on for years. I just can't help but think that club, from bottom to top, it's in there now. It's rooted in there, and it's going to take. I don't know who's going to get rid of it. I don't know how they're going to get rid of it. But also, I did sort of look up. Old Arteta goes on about all the crosses, like that's going to save them. But somebody's got to head them in.
They haven't got one.
I mean, that's it. I mean, you can cross the ball, you're flipping like. But so what? I mean,
shouldn't have got rid of Giroud.
Look at Manchester City last year and the year before. How many were crosses? Well, they weren't.
No. Wasn't this?
They weren't.
Wasn't their style of play?
No.
As it's not Arsenal's, but yeah, they still do it.
Liverpool put quite a few crosses in there, but they don't necessarily mean they're in the air.
No.
The other team that do put a lot of crosses in is West Ham, but they've got the guy, number 9, standing in there ready for him. But Arsenal haven't. So I think that's an excuse. Okay, next one.
We said that you said the Palace were going to beat Spurs, and I said Spurs would beat Palace, but it ends up being a draw as well, which is good for Liverpool, one thing. A little bit surprised, to be honest. I thought Spurs would be a bit more prepared, maybe, and a bit more robust against Palace. Because, I think it's quite obvious
I like
Palace are going
to. I think they're dangerous to the top teams.
Yeah. I just thought it'd be a bit obvious to Mourinho what Palace were going to do. I thought he'd try and work around that, but they didn't play well at all in the second half.
No.
And so, yeah, I'm a little bit surprised by that.
I think Mourinho will go away and look at all the other results and think, thank goodness.
Yeah, he'll probably be quite happy with that.
As Liverpool will, we'll get to that.
Yeah, well, that's next. We said that we didn't even mention it last week because we just said, Liverpool beat Fulham.
Yeah, that's it. That one's solid. And how about that then?
We were terrible in the first half an hour. Of course, I'm gonna be biased and say their goal shouldn't have counted.
But so what? It doesn't make Liverpool's performance any better. The
performance is still trash. Everyone apart from Curtis Jones, I think. Curtis Jones was fantastic, as was Fabinho. But I suppose you can put it down as just to one of those days, maybe, where we've just played poorly. And we got a point. We didn't lose.
Was it the last game? I said, wow, what a great team.
Exactly. We beat Wolves 4-0. We've beaten Leicester 3-0. But all these games that we win are at home. We haven't won away from home yet, which is a bit of a worry, I'd say. Right. We had that last 2 years ago, maybe in the Champions League, where we didn't win away from home for a while. So maybe we have a thing with that, where we're much more comfortable at Anfield. I think Klopp might have to do something about that, because obviously can't carry on like that.
Okay, well, and the next one?
We did say that Leicester would win, and they thoroughly did last night. I think who they played. I don't remember who they played. It was someone. Oh, it was Brighton. Yeah, Brighton. They have Danny Welbeck up front.
Let's put it this way: if Wickham can cope, I think we might be in the Championship. We might be playing Brighton.
Yeah, they're not. They don't stand out, do they, when you watch them?
They're another team like Newcastle to me. What is the point?
They are a bit dull, aren't they? They don't really do a lot. But
sorry, Newcastle fans. I'm sure we don't have too many fans from Newcastle.
No, probably not. But Maddison looked really good again. He scored some really good goals. And also their right back, Justin, he looks very good when I've watched him play.
He's come back, hasn't he? Maddison.
He has, yeah.
What? And he looked really good.
He looked really sharp.
I mean, how does that work? You know, it doesn't look like he was injured at all.
Well, does he get back in the England team with Grealish or without?
I think they've got to be a little bit careful to start with.
Yeah?
Yeah. And we know what will happen in the England team anyway. You just put the same bog standard, won't he?
I can't wait for the midfield three of Dyer, Henderson and Winks, probably.
Yeah.
It'll be a
we'll have to do the England one and sit there with our heads down, won't we? Haven't been a decent team for how long? Right.
Don't. And then lastly, we said Southampton would beat Sheffield United, and of course there was no doubt in that, was there?
Sheffield. I mean, how are they going to get the lowest score ever and do Derby out of their fame?
It would be such a surprise if they did. I didn't think they'd be this bad.
When is he going to go?
He hasn't got long, I don't think. He's only there because of what he's done at the club previously. It's the only reason why he's there still.
I mean, I go when they say, right, we're going to be interviewing, I go to sleep. He doesn't give you any. I mean, let's be honest. I know we keep talking about Wickham, we drop him in all the time, but when Ainsworth walked around Wickham's pitch before the beginning of the game, before we lost, having losing, and the crowd stand and cheer and go for him, for our manager, is that the same at Sheffield? Do we think Ainsworth can't do wrong even if we win? You have gone frozen, Kieran. But even if Wickham lose 10-0, everybody's going to... Well, that's not quite true. I mean, but a lot of the real fans, people will still support him because they know what he's done and he's doing everything he can. But they can't help it with this bloke at Sheffield to think he's so negative.
He's very strong opinionated, isn't he, as well?
He doesn't
you just think
confidence. And he has a go at his players as well afterwards. He does. He blames the players in a sort of joking way. You know, it's almost comedy. Well, you know, he did awful, but you know, and you think, you don't do that. You don't do that. Whereas Ainsworth just says, we're the best. We're the best. I was so proud of him. And I just think you've got to do that when you're near the bottom.
Yeah. He does seem to be taking the piss sometimes, doesn't he?
He does. I mean, if you want to go in that dressing room and start dealing with them, but you don't stand in front of a camera.
No.
You don't do that. I think he's had it, that bloke. I think he's got to go.
He'll have to go soon.
Anywhere near my club. I
No.
don't want him anywhere near it.
He's a boring manager, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Shall we move on to next week's Tuesday and Wednesday's fixtures?
Yeah, we'll do this quick. Everybody.
Yeah.
Promise. And please write your thoughts underneath what you think about. Put your own sort of, and so you can beat us. Go.
Wolves versus Chelsea. Chelsea will win. Wolves haven't got it at the moment. I think they've got to win a few games, Chelsea, against decent teams.
I'm going for draw.
Fair. Man City versus West Brom.
You right these days?
Yeah, I'm right.
Man City against West Brom.
Do we even need to talk about that? Man City are at home.
No, they've got to, haven't they? Man City
have to.
Got to win.
Yeah. Arsenal versus Southampton. Arsenal are at home.
No. Oh, no. I feel so sorry for them, really.
It seems, on paper at the moment, it seems quite obvious who should win that.
Yeah. Are they going to get any fight?
I don't know. I don't know where they can get that fight from.
You got to. Well,
Southampton.
It is Southampton win.
Yeah. Leeds versus Newcastle. Draw.
You going for a draw? I'm going for Leeds.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
Maybe because they're at home.
Yeah. Yeah, their fans will be... Oh, they don't have any at the moment, do they?
No, they don't. Only 4 teams have fans now that London's in Tier 3.
I heard somebody making comments about, it's not fair, blah, blah, blah. But you can't keep fans out, even when they're let.
Because it's unfair, yeah.
I mean, that's ridiculous. Right.
Leicester versus Everton. Leicester at home, I'll go with Leicester. That's the only reason I'm going with Leicester. I think it's pretty even apart from that.
I don't. I think Leicester every day of the week.
Fair enough.
Yeah, Leicester win. Yeah, we're agreeing with most of this. We got two different.
We are. We might disagree with this one. Fulham versus Brighton. If Fulham play how they did against us, then they'll win.
I think Brighton have got a bit more plan about them. I think Brighton will keep Fulham out. So I would say a draw, but I'm not going to say another draw. So I'm going to say Brighton will get a goal and then all 11 players behind the ball. Brighton.
Yeah, can see that. Liverpool versus Spurs. Liverpool at home.
Liverpool have got to score in the first half.
Yeah,
Got-
and not let them score. Otherwise, we're in for a great second half.
It's not, can't do eventually. You've got to score in the first. You've got to be winning the game by half time. So I am going to say Liverpool. It's not because I'm biased, but Liverpool are at home.
I think because we're at home, it makes me want to go for a Liverpool win, but I'm probably going to say a draw.
Right.
Yeah, I am. Unfortunately. West Ham versus Crystal Palace, your two favourites.
Oh, that's a shame.
West Ham, no, Crystal Palace, I think, will edge that. I think Eze and Zaha at the moment are playing too well.
Yeah, I'm going to do the same. Crystal Palace. I like Crystal Palace. I think they bother teams.
Mm.
And Benteke. Come on, Benteke. Hat trick.
Could you imagine? Aston Villa versus Burnley. Villa, I think that would be pretty simple, I'd imagine.
That's a draw.
Yeah. Could be a draw, to be fair. I'm not sure Burnley would have enough to win it, but I think Villa will in the end. And this is the game of the century. Sheffield United versus Manchester United.
Well, this is the
Could
one.
they get their first win of the season?
This is the one for people being sacked, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is the sacking game.
Could you imagine if Sheffield win?
Can you imagine a draw and they both get sacked for the same
Could well happen.
game?
I don't think Sheffield would sack him after playing Man United. I don't think. But I think Man United could easily sack Ollie if they lose to Sheffield. Surely.
And Sheffield are at home.
I'm going to say Sheffield because I want to see it happen.
But you want to see Sheffield win?
Of course I do. That'd be amazing. Their first win of the season and Ollie gets sacked.
I think Man United are going to be terrified of this game.
Yeah.
I think both of them are. All their players are going to be so bothered about this one. I'm going to say a draw because I think, I'm going to go for a draw. I don't know how many draws I've gone for.
The only reason I think United might win is because of Cavani. And I think Cavani might come off the bench and save them.
Is he back?
Yeah. Was he injured? I didn't think he was injured.
He didn't play the last game.
Oh. Well, in that case, they'd probably still say
I can't
Sheffield.
remember what's wrong with him.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what's wrong with Cavani. He didn't play last time, did he?
No.
You could probably play quicker than me. I'm sure.
Oh no, he is injured.
I thought he was out for a couple.
Yeah. As is Martial.
Oh, well, that doesn't make much difference.
No, it doesn't mean.
He's had a shot on target for I don't know how many games. I'm serious as well. Okay, then. I think that's the lot, is it?
Yeah, that is the lot.
Right, everybody. We only had 30 people look at this last time, or 30 plus. So please put your ideas below as well. I mean, we're only, who are we? I've been predicting Wycombe's score since the beginning of the season. I have yet to get one right. So I think none of these scores will happen. Mind you, just going for win, draw and lose, we stand more of a chance. But please put yours. And this is the third video from today. And, of course, I've got one tomorrow night when Wycombe are away at Bournemouth.
Wycombe beat Bournemouth, you mean?
Come on, Wycombe. Right. With that, we'll say goodbye. And the next time I think I'll be putting a video up, well, it'll probably be Thursday or Friday for the next Wycombe game. Thank you, everybody. This is MJT's Wycombe Wanderers Plus, and this is the 7th episode, and this was the second half. Thank you.